Penises be getting larger. That's according to new research that was published by Dr. Michael Eisenberg, and that might not be a good thing. So let's get to the details here. Okay, so this study found that the average length of average length of penises, obviously male, has grown by 24%, which is a lot.
Over the last 29 years.
Yeah.
So guys, this is actually a stunning report, and it's a very large study. So it's not a fluke.
Very large.
Okay. Anyways, so they've been studying penis size for 80 years. Bless their hearts.
Because of course they have been studying penis sizes for 80 years, right? Think about science.
Right.
And the gender that's overrepresented in science historically and probably likely currently. Of course they want to study their Johnsons. Like, of course.
Well, look.
I don't mind it, but of course.
I hear you, and there's specialists in the area, but like, is that a thing you want to do with your life? What do you do? I'm a penis measurer. So anyways, but it's #science. Overall, great, love it, it's interesting.
And it is important. Look, I don't mean to minimize it because in this case, while they have discovered that the average length of a penis has grown as much as 24% over the last 29 years, what they're also looking into is the impact to fertility and whatnot. So let's talk about that. As I mentioned earlier, the lead researcher here is Dr. Michael Eisenberg, who's a urologist and a male fertility specialist, so you can understand why he would want to research this. Now, studies have measured penile length dating back at least 80 years, Eisenberg said. He and his team compiled data from 75 studies conducted between 1942 and 2021 on nearly 56,000 men. That's a lot of penises. They found the average erect penis length increased by 24% over the last 29 years. The average length of the erect penis across all regions and decades was about 5.5 inches, the study found, okay? So in other words, the average length went from 4.8 inches to 6 inches over the past 29 years. Now, they also found that the trend was apparent in different regions of the world. It's not isolated to a specific population, okay? So this is worldwide, okay? Eisenberg also decided to research this topic because studies have shown a concerning trend of lower testosterone and lower sperm counts in men over the past few decades. So that is an issue.
I have a theory on this, and I think that obviously it's initial speculation. They keep saying we don't know why it happened, but I want to draw your attention first to one thing. So notice that they went and did 75 studies, giant number of studies, giant number of people for the last 80 years, but penis size has only been growing in the last 29. It has not been growing the other times. So it is a relatively recent phenomenon in the last 3 decades. That makes it even more interesting. There's a hilarious quote at the end of the story that I'll get to later. But my theory is, so first of all, what's a fact is the size of the testicles in animals, oftentimes, and in apes in particular, depends on the level of promiscuity, depends on what kind of animal they are. So if you
so slutty animals have
larger testicles. It's literally true, okay?
Okay.
So, and that's how the scientists put it too. Slutty animals have larger testicles.
Exactly. Scientific lingo. We got to stick to that.
Exactly. So when there is a semen competition within the vagina, then that leads to larger testicles because you need more firepower for the competition within. Okay, so I'm just keeping it real. And so, for example, chimpanzees will have a lot of sex with a lot of different partners, and then the semen competes within the female chimpanzee, and it's because she's ovulating at a certain time, etc. So that's where you need it. But for like silverbacks that are dominant and don't need to compete and compete physically rather than within the vagina, and I'm sorry, but this is the science of it, so it is what it is. They have much smaller testicles, okay? And sometimes the penis is a show of, it's a display. I am attractive. Now, the evolution-
Or attracted.
Right? Yeah, in the case of the males, they're trying to attract the females with a larger penis,
right?
Okay, it happens with some animals. And so that evolution doesn't know that you're wearing pants. Okay, now it's very complicated because are we evolving all across the world? We might be, and that's super trippy. And so it's like a peacock's feathers. The males have them, the feathers, because they're trying to attract the females, and they're like, look at my feathers, oh, you see this? And the way that sometimes male apes do it is, hey, look at what I'm packing, okay? And so we
Is that true?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, so we might be growing in size to try to compete outwardly because we're having trouble competing inwardly because we're having issues with testosterone and the size of the testicles.
That's an interesting theory.
That's me, that's not the scientist, so it's a little bit of interesting evolutionary speculation.
I think we've destroyed the environment globally, and it's having negative impacts on fertility. And one of the unexpected side effects is penises are getting larger, which guys might love, but what's the point if it's not gonna be as effective in reproduction, right?
Well,
unless you don't care about reproducing, in that case.
I would leave that question to you. What's the point? I don't know, you tell me.
But I don't know, I mean, again, I'm just hypothesizing, I have no idea. But let's get to some more details here from the study itself. So first, let me just note, the doctor actually thought that he was gonna find the penises had shrunk, and he was surprised that that was not the finding here. Now, Dr. James Hodling, a urologist and men's infertility specialist at the University of Utah Health, praised the study but said he's not yet convinced that penises are growing longer. The simplest explanation, he said, is that the method of measurement has changed over the last 30 years, though there's no evidence that has happened. So I don't know how many different methods of measurement exist, but if there were multiple methods of measurement created to measure anything, it would be the penis. It would be.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
And so this Hodling guy had another hilarious quote. That's the one I was referring to. So look, penis length theoretically affects both genders, right? And whether size matters is what I'm saying. I leave up to you guys. You tell me. I don't. That's not my business. But for guys, of course, they feel better if it's longer. Right, let's keep it real, okay, in terms of confidence. So, but that leads to this hilarious quote. Hodling said he hopes the research, whether supported in the future or not, will encourage men who are concerned to talk to their doctor. I love that idea. Dr. Jacobs, I'm really concerned. My penis is too long. How often do people go, I don't know, man, it's like our penis size have increased. I'm super concerned. I came in, I'm wondering is it too long? No, nobody's concerned about that.
Yeah.
Okay. You see, he's worried that people need to talk to their doctors.
But look, penis size is one thing, but it is concerning that there's like growing issues with infertility, right?
Oh, 100%.
So like, as fun as it is to talk about penis length, I'm genuinely concerned. I'm concerned that what I do think that pollutants, possibly pharmaceutical drugs, all sorts of things, maybe antibiotics in our food. Is this leading to the fertility issues that people are having? Obviously, we also know that people are waiting longer to have kids, but that's not what this study is about. This is just looking at penis length, but also measuring, sperm count and things like that.
Look, there's one other possibility that I don't see talked about often, and the idea of humans evolving in the modern world is very trippy, right? So it's not an easy situation to discern, right? Like, is it even possible? How is it possible? How would it work? How would the mechanics of it work, etc. But we know that different species evolve sometimes depending on their environment. So it is possible that it's also a reaction to overpopulation.
What?
So,
really?
Yeah, and in fact, our culture often changes depending on the size of the population. When we're concerned about underpopulation, and this is not a conscious decision that anybody makes, but culturally, you wind up having laws passed against homosexuality because society wants as much copulation and reproduction as possible. When there's overpopulation, then rules against homosexuality get eased. So this has happened throughout human history. And so that is an amazing phenomenon. And the human mind, there's a lot more to know about it. And so as it affects evolution in particular. But if any other study confirms this, that is a stunning finding, because 24% ain't nothing to mess with. That is a giant amount of growth in just 29 years for the human species. So good job, guys.
Oh my gosh, so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.